So this week's project is going to be very different than what we've done so far because you'll be able to generate it almost the same amount of time it'll take me here, maybe take you a little bit longer, and you won't have to write a line of code. So the reason behind this is because of the magic of NetBeans. We're going to start a new project here, and for the first time, it's going to be really important that you pay attention to the type of NetBeans you've installed. Because up till now, we've been creating basic Java applications. Now, we must have Java Web out there. If you don't have Java Web, then that means you're going to have to go download the full version of NetBeans with the Java EE stuff inside of there, and then install that. You can have both of them running, or you can uninstall the one you have. It'll install it separately if you don't uninstall the other ones. You'll have two of them on there, most likely. That's the way it used to do it, at least. So pick the Java Web application here, and then you hit Next. So if you don't have that, you got to stop right now. Come back to this video, go in and install that. That stuff's out there on my YouTube channel, how to download and install it. So go check that link out in the announcements. All right, so once we have this, we can build our first JSP app, or whatever you want to call it. We're actually going to be starting the type of work we have going on here, so we'll just call it first JSP app. So when I hit Next, it asks me some information. Now, with NetBeans comes Glassfish. It's the only one I installed. You could try and use other ones, but we need Glassfish for some of the technology we're going to use behind here. So you should be using Glassfish for this demo. Hit Next again. We don't need to include any of this stuff now. You could, but it will be added automatically through the way we're going to add it in. This is frameworks I could add in if I need it to automatically add them in, or you can add them in by hand later on. It's not a huge deal if you forget this. So I hit Finish, and I have a project. Now, notice right away, it's a different symbol up here. It's a lot of stuff's different. I'm going to go off and I'm going to hit the Run button right away for two reasons. Number one, to show you what happens here, what gets built, and number two, because it takes a little bit of time. Notice it didn't jump right up. It's going off and starting Glassfish. It's got to get the server up and running. That's going to take 30, 40 seconds to make that all happen. So I'm going to do it right away. Also notice what it generates for us is not Java code. It's index.html. It shows us this file which has supply a title here, write content inside of here. And guess what? If I pull over the browser that it automatically started up, to do write content, to do supply a title. This browser is what happens when I go off and run it, and you can see it's going to my local host, the computer I'm on. This port 8080, it's creating a web server to run on this port, and it's going to first JSP app, what I named my application up here. So that's the app I have set up. If I wanted to, I could change stuff inside of here. So this could be Tony page inside of here. I save this. I can go back to this page. I'm going to refresh it. I'm going to hit F5 and refresh it. You see the title refresh to Tony page. I come down here and say my content. Save that. Come back over here. Hit F5 to refresh it again. You can see my content. This is a live page running. Live web page running. But we're not building HTML pages. We're going to just get that out of the way. Our job is to build Java server pages here. So inside here, I'm going to right click. And there's all sorts of cool features. New, and I'm going to come down to Other. You can see all the stuff I could build. Let's go to Other so we can see the full options. So there's this thing out here called Java Server Faces. I could build pages and beans and components and all sorts of things. What I want to create is Java Server Pages from this thing called an entity class. Now, we'll learn about what an entity class is later on. We don't have any of these right now. If I hit Next on this guy, you can see there's no available entity classes. So let's build one of these guys to get our stuff started. So an entity class comes from our persistence library. Okay, so inside of the persistence library, I can build an entity class, but I don't know what one is. So let me get a little bit more help. I want to build an entity class from this database. So a little bit of a hint is an entity class is something that represents data stored in a database. And so if I go to there, I have to connect myself to a data source. Now, I've set up data sources here in the past. If you've ever run this stuff in the past, you will see these in here. So before I do this, let me just show you how to clean this up. Because one of the things that's happening now is I'm now running in an environment. And the environment remembers stuff that's not in my Java code. And so I've set up some stuff on the server, this Glassfish server that's up and running. Again, it has to be running to see this a long time ago, including, so I come up with the services tab, I open up my servers, I open up resources, I open up JDBC, Java Database Connectivity, look at this, and I have all this stuff that I had built beforehand. It'll be there if you shut down an application, delete it, and start a new one. This stuff will stay. So you might need to delete some of this stuff, so you can say unregister. If you're starting new, you don't have to worry about this, but this is a nice thing to remember later on if you have to debug. I can unregister all this stuff, and I come back over here. I can unregister. Now, what I'm unregistering here is very specific. I am unregistering things that I know I don't need here anymore. And so I'm trying to take those out. The reason I'm trying to take those out here is so I can start fresh, and you can see it fresh, but I left it there so you can see how to remove them. So again, coming back, new, other. I'm going to the persistence down here. Persistence means stuff stored somewhere else, persisting outside my application. So entity class from a database. I'm going to create a new data source down here. Now, a data source is defined by a name, JNDI name. And what I want you to name it is JDBC/sales. So JDBC is the protocol /sales is the database we're going to connect to. And I want to create a new connection inside of here. Now, you can see I actually have this connection inside of here, but I'm going to go to a new connection. And so for this, I need to pick the right database I'm connecting to, MySQL. So once I go to MySQL, I hit next. And don't hit add or anything here. These are just driver files. We don't need to mess with this. I pick MySQL and then I hit next. And this helps me connect to my database. This is all the stuff that I put into that connection string when I was doing it by hand. So you can see localhost is my host. 3306 is my port number. The database I want to connect to is sales. And the username I want to connect to is the one we created, CTU Online. The password being student, and I can say remember that password if I want to, and I can test this connection. When I hit the test button, it should come up with connection succeeded. Let's say I put in the password wrong. Then it would have said cannot establish a connection, and it'll tell me why, sorta, kinda, but it kind of hides. Oh, so there you go. If I mouse over it, access denied for user CTU Online, yes. If I said sales and spelled that wrong, I say test connection, I get a different error. So access denied for user to sales D. Well, I got the same error because it didn't exist. Let me see if I did MySQL. I don't think it'll give me access to this. Yeah, access denied there. Well, let's go back to sales. So yeah, anyway, you can see there's issues inside of there. That's how I debug it. Once I have this sorted out, STUDENT, then I can hit next. All right, don't need any schema inside of here. Hit next. Then it creates this whole database up there, and I hit finish. I already have it exists, so I don't have to worry about it. I just connect the one that exists. So you'd end up with something like this when you're all said and done. Hit OK. Now, if it all works, then you can see I have the customer and the product databases that pop up. I'm going to pick the product database here. I'm going to click add here, which is going to go and select the tables for product. And I'm going to hit next here. And now I can give it a package name. So I can do sales, because that's the database I'm dealing with. Okay, sales.product. That's fine. You can not do a package if you want to. I just wanted to show you this where you type it in. And don't need anything additional there. Hit finish. So now it's gone through, it's created some Java code. I have product out here. This product class is literally just a basic product class. We'll learn about this stuff next week, all this fancy stuff there, but it has ID, name, description, and price. That's the most important thing. But we have an entity class. Now we go back to our application. We right-click and say New, come down to Other, and then we go back to Java Server Pages, and we can go to JSF pages from an entity class. I hit Next, and now I have an entity class here. Now, since we have something that can talk to a database, we have something that we know what's on the database, we know what the columns are, I can add that in and hit Next. And it's going to generate a bunch of stuff for us. Now, you can leave all of this as sales. There's no reason to change this. I want to change this out because later on I want to show you how this breaks down. So I'm going to call this EJB. I'm going to call this JSF. And so that way we can see how these technologies break down later on. I'm going to hit next. Don't need to change anything here. This shows me the version of JSF I want to go on. It's only one available. And I hit finish. Now this is going to churn for a minute. It's going to generate a bunch of stuff. You can see a bunch of stuff got generated here, a bunch of packages. It actually is also generating some more files up here, but now it's ready to go. If I hit the run button again, it's going to restart my application. It's going to wipe out the old one. It's going to start the new one, and now it's given me another web page. So now you can see the web page is a little bit blue. It's got a little bit of a style attached, and it gives me the link now to show all my product items. I click on this. And look at that. All the stuff that was in my database is now being shown to me. I haven't written a line of code, but I have a website that's showing me stuff from my database. I can create a new product inside of here. So product 5555. This could be NetBeans. Description is super tool. The price is free. Imagine that. Hit save. And I've successfully created the product. So if I go to all the products again, you can see NetBeans was added inside of here. I can edit it and say, you know what, I want to charge $10 for this because it's such a great tool. Save it. Look at that. It's now updated to be $10. I go to all the product items. It's up to be to $10. But you know what? You can't sell NetBeans because NetBeans isn't yours to sell. I'm going to destroy it, and it's gone. So just like that, I know it's some detailed steps, but we've created, updated, edited, and deleted from the database in a web app. I want you to go off and build this, and you'll be close to done. I mean, we're at about 12 minutes here, and we were able to build the whole thing with some explanation. So you probably will take you more than 10 minutes to get it done, but it shouldn't take you hopefully more than a half an hour. The biggest thing is getting your environment set up. So get all that sorted out. Ask for help. If you're having trouble, email me screenshots, email me pictures, email me your code. But let me tell you, your code might be perfect, and you still might not be working if the environment's messed up. So you might need to make some time. You might need to make the effort to come to a chat or to get some specific help to get your environment set up if it's messed up. Again, you saw some tricks. We'll see some other tricks and some other pieces we'll be working on here, but don't feel afraid to come and ask for help. It's really as simple as this, but it's also as complicated as getting it to work, which is not always simple. So good luck, and keep seeking out help if you need it.